1 Peter 5:8 and Matthew 10:22 make it clear that you must stand firm and be vigilant. As a Christian, we know that the state has always been the enemies of Christianity and that they infiltrate religion to control people. The same way the Jews did not accept Jesus, the people who were concerned with the internal organization of the Jewish nation and the internal organization of Rome got together and they crucified Jesus. It was the Roman version of the military-industrial complex. And there were pagan secret societies and quote-unquote Jewish secret societies at play. It is not my ingenuity that allowed me to come up with this logical conclusion, but rather the infallible doctrine found in the Bible. The values and the morals are what matters. One must focus, and over time, their brain transforms itself to work with that focus. You transform your mind, body, and soul, including your brain. Drugs, including prescription drugs, reduce one's ability to transform their brain in a powerful, intense, and spiritual way. You will never find an intelligent person who has been on psych meds for a long time. Or at least they haven't reached their natural ability, their true potential, if you will, as much as I hate to use that phrase. So I'm going to show you a clip of martial arts and a clip that was taken the day after that many of you have seen already. But I'm going to explain the significance and the relevance of it. This clip shows you definitively that I was covertly drugged. Not only did the person in the experiment experience the same symptoms I've been telling you about for a long time, they observed the very obvious and apparent effects of drugs on me. And in the morning, like right now, before I eat, before I drink, that's from yesterday, I am very coherent, concise, clear-minded, and level-headed. My eyes are not glossed over or, reflect a state of mind that is medicated or drugged. But after the experiment, she noticed that I was drugged. The next day in the morning, she saw that I had clear eyes. Okay, if I suffered from mental illness and I needed to be on my medication, you would see a kind of consistency. You wouldn't randomly just happen to see the effects of drugs after an experiment designed to show that there are drugs in the drink. It was consistent, not only with her feelings, with her sleeping. Remember, she was in bed. She lays down, she says it was the root beer. The root beer and the strawberry soda, the only two drinks she was given, were both drugged. And regardless, even if it was only one, it still proved my point. I have definitively proven that they are covertly drugging me. They couldn't defeat me. All these liars could accomplish is covertly bugging me. The same people who betrayed Jesus, the military, secret societies, the conformists, the government, the ancient equivalent of law enforcement, if you will, the Roman guards, the Roman troops, the Jewish authorities, the Pharisees, the Sadducees. These are the people who betrayed the Son of God. And that was them knowing that there were serious repercussions associated with what they were doing. Or there was a great likelihood of that, a guy who did miracles. Now imagine today with someone like me who doesn't do any miracles, who's not a prophet, who's simply a very insightful man, who has cultivated his spirituality and created a certain amount of mental conditioning. These deceivers, these liars will stop at nothing to maintain the order with the Son of God. So imagine how much further they would go with me. I have proven that they are fuming me. See the compilation video. I have proven they are drugging my food. I've proven that they're telling people to provoke me to go to the psych ward so they can get me on drugs and make me see a shrink to make sure I'm taking them. Drugs that will mess up my mental conditioning, will cause loss of coordination, stiff muscles, loss of focus, blurry vision, all things that mess up martial arts and one's ability to articulate oneself, one's ability to communicate important ideas to other people. We must all focus. Martin Luther King had focus. The military has focus. And these psych ops are big corporations in the military-industrial complex coming together for a military assault on people using unconventional warfare, drugging the food, and intensely drugging political dissidents to stifle dissent. Psychiatry is wrong. They've been wrong for a long time. They are anti-Christian garbage, and one way to look at it is they have accepted the anti-Christ philosophies. We must be vigilant and stand firm. We can't go at this half-ass wanting to conform. No, we have to be vigilant. We have to stand firm. 1 Peter 5:8, Matthew 10:22. Firm. Kind of like the military, they stand firm at attention, right? They're standing firm with their Babylonian beliefs and enforcing them and impressing them on others, indoctrinating society with their nonsensical, inferior philosophies that did not allow them to defeat me, but they hid, like the guilty will hide in caves, as is written in Revelation. They hid all to no avail. They resorted to treachery and trickery and deceit, dishonor. They twisted religion. They twisted the definitions of things such as honor. And they told the collaborators and those who are complicit that what they're doing was a good idea. But now look at them. Look at how pathetic they are. And now they go down in history. Because my videos will spread, I assure you. They go down in history. The history that is being maintained by the most insightful people as complete scoundrels that drugged the namesake of a brain surgeon who did millions of dollars worth of charity. They drugged an IT professional, someone trained in information technology with a concentration in software engineering, a very logical man. They covertly drugged him. They set him up, all because they didn't want him to expose things such as Francis Galton being a Freemason, Nathan Bedford Forrest being a Freemason. Things that I will repeat many more times in many more videos to make sure people understand that Masons are mass murdering trash. On record. They can cry about it all they want. We could go to court with this and they'd be forced to concede that, hey, you know what? He's right. The guy who started the eugenics movement was a Mason. You know, it sums it up pretty well that they're mass murderers, okay? For them to cry about that is like, you know, the relatives of Hitler crying that historians recorded Hitler as being a mass murderer. It's mainstream history. You can cry all you want about it. You can say, well, one Mason doesn't reflect all of Masonry. You, in your book, Morals and Dogma, say you are subordinated to the wisest and the best. You are subordinate to the wisest and the best. And he was given all these certificates. And his movement spread throughout the Masonic world and the West. You have no excuse. Francis Galton exemplifies the ideal Mason from the perspective of Freemasons. And of course, the presidents used their Masonic network to get there. I believe it was Abraham Lincoln who did not want to become a Freemason before becoming president. Why? Because he did not want to become president based on the Masonic network. That's on record. On record. These people, these eugenic presidents got there by using their Masonic network. So don't you sit there like the disingenuous dogs you are and pretend that it has nothing to do with Masonry and he just happened to be a Mason and this is some rogue Freemason. He used hundreds of thousands of Masons to help him get where he was. Just like Galton When I say he, I'm talking about FDR and Truman. Just like Galton, well, I had FDR in mind. Just like Galton used hundreds of thousands of Freemasons and the rich Masons to push eugenics in America and sterilize 60,000 people in America, and to influence Hitler to sterilize 300,000 plus people in Germany. No, this is exactly what it means to be a Mason. It means to conform. It means to be subordinate and subjugated by the quote-unquote wisest and the best, who are disreputable, dishonest, mass-murdering trash that target vulnerable individuals and then hold them down with psych meds the first chance they get, while I teach them how to rise out of their situation, how to increase their intellectual abilities. They drug them under the pretense of helping them function and helping them score better. All you're doing is helping them stay in the lower class, in the lower middle class. I'm showing them how to rise and outthink those in the academic community, and how to be a true person of honor. You teach them how to be a groveling dog, a sniveling dog that is dependent on big government, that depends on corporations, and knows nothing but conformity and cowardice. I teach them how to connect to God, to triumph over the great evil as I have. Look at you now, you sniveling traitors. And I'm going to make sure you go down in history as the treacherous scum you are that hid like bitches for almost 3 years now without a single valid excuse, with dojos spread across the country with Masons teaching there. I assure you, you deserve to go down as cowards. And I will go down in history as a perceptive, insightful, astute, keen, and very observative scholar, man of God, and the top martial artist, even though I was covertly drugged, in the history that is maintained by the most insightful people, not for the sheeple. How's that for valuing intellect over superstition? You superstitious, frivolous, secret society, pedophile, human trafficking, human sacrificing, baby killing, eugenic scumbags. All right, so this is the next day, July 8th, 2016. So have you been around people who are drugged or medicated before?
Yes, I have.
All right.
And yesterday, Chiku looked very drugged, and this morning he looked refreshed, not drugged at all.
Would you say that's kind of consistent with them drugging the drinks and what have you?
From how you looked yesterday, yeah,
all
definitely.
Right. So I'm not telling you what to say or anything. These are your words, and you know it's all true, right?
Yes.
So if you were to later on change your story, you know, for any reason, you're telling the truth now and not then, and not later.
I'm telling the truth. Well, it's the truth in what I noticed yesterday from today.
All right. I'm just saying this to cover all the odds. I'm not saying you're going to do that. I'm just, making sure that the viewers know that this is not staged, that this is actually, what your perspective, and, with all the other things I've gathered, I have a person on record saying that they were told to provoke me to go to the psych ward. So it's already established that they're trying to get me on drugs. So yeah, well, thank you. That's all I need for now. Today is Saturday the 9th. Okay, so since you've been here, you arrived on Thursday evening, or Thursday around 6, or I picked you up around 5:45 or something. Okay, you've had 5 other drinks. You've had the water from the store. You've had Coke from Subway. You've had, what did you get from Jack in the Box?
It was a Seagram gin with orange soda.
Or a Seagram ginger ale, you mean?
Yeah.
All right. You've had the lemonade from In-N-Out, and then those experiment stuff.
the Coke from the Mexican
Oh
place.
yeah, the Coke from Mexican place. So you had 5 different. Did those drinks make you feel any kind of way, any drugged or anything?
No.
All right. So the only time you felt any kind of way was the experiment we had drinks that was the A&W root beer that I suspected, might be drugged, and the Cherry Crush. Also, it's important that my viewers know that you did not have any idea what symptoms to expect, right?
Mm-mm.
So when you started feeling tired and the heartburn and whatever you were feeling, you had no idea that's what it was. So it completely rules out the idea that you were expecting to feel that way or you thought you might feel that way. You had no idea. And so, then of course you didn't know which drinks were drugged. And it turns out after I tested the root beer again this morning that it was both of them. Both of them were drugged. So you were right to say that it was a root beer. You pussies wanted to fake and motherfucking pretend. Look at you now, June 30th, 23rd, pussy. These are just a few memes with comic book characters and what have you to illustrate my point. Read them carefully and think about what I'm getting at.